at the end of the day, if you want to look at it on a way or another, when you actually get into a relationship with somebody, you're looking for a benefit. What's the benefit? Is being looked after, is having a family, being supported, having a protector. But then on the other hand,
women get a lot, don't they?
Right. Yeah, but on the other hand, you get that too. Because
What, a protector, a provider?
What do you get when you're with a woman on a relationship or even marriage?
You get someone who supports you, ideally.
Okay. So don't you get, I'm going to put it like this. You get a babysitter because she's going to have your kids.
Whoa, no, hold on.
Wait,
I have to disregard that one.
Let me finish, and then we can argue about
because they're her kids too.
Okay. So if you're going to get married, she's clearly going to babysit. So she's doing babysitting for the kids.
Nope.
For your kids and her kids, she's also cleaning the house. So that's a benefit.
She may not be. We may both do that.
But I'm just saying, on a normal thing,
sure.
Let's say you're going to choose a woman on the traditional side of things. She's also, let's call it a sexual worker.
A sexual worker?
Sexual worker. Think about it on a benefit way. Think about it. Think about it for a second. Because unfortunately, when you're having your friends with benefits, you're having your sexual benefit. But you also get that when you're married.
She gets
You
it
also
too.
get the babysitting, right? But then she's also gets pregnant. You can't get pregnant.
Okay, so that's
she also goes through the post
post-not. I know what you're talking about.
Postpartum depression. Sorry, I couldn't say the word properly.
Depression.
So there's the problem we're having. Years ago, men will work for this. That's the reason why men used to want to get married, because of sex. Because they wanted to have a family, because it was a massive benefit. But women are giving it away so easily nowadays that the work is so much less.
I would also, and this, I'm speaking for the men here, most women do not bring those values anymore. So
the experience is what brings you the right person.
But what I mean is that a lot of guys would say that because the values, I understand what you're saying, I don't disagree with you, but those are very traditional values.
Of course, yeah.
Right? A lot of guys would say that it's difficult to find a woman who wants to bring those traditional values, but they still expect a man to play the traditional part. So
can I ask you the reason why men want a traditional woman and women want a traditional male? Do you think they still want it that way?
I think, not all, but I think some people want to receive in a traditional way, but they don't want to give in a traditional way. So, for example, if you have a woman who says, I want a man who's going to provide and protect for me, cool.
That's just the sentence everybody says.
They say that, right? That's very traditional.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. But then that means that the traditional thing would be, okay, you take care of the meals. You take care of the home. You're the primary carer for the child, right? And a lot of women don't want to do that. And that's fine. I'm not saying they have to, but that means you're not looking for a traditional dynamic. You can't ask for a traditional person, right? And not give in a traditional way. So for example, if a woman says, I want a man to pay for everything, take care of me, take responsibility for everything, so I don't have to worry about everything. Cool, fantastic. But if you say you want to go out with your friends and he says you're not going, you're not going.
Why?
Because you're giving, with responsibility comes authority.
Meaning that just because she's giving you the traditional role, that means that you have the authority?
So it means that if she is giving you the responsibility to look after her, the relationship and everything else, she also submits to his authority as well. That's traditional.
Okay.
So I'm not saying people have to do that, but you can't ask to receive in a traditional way. Because here's the thing, there's pros and cons to everything, right?
Agree.
Being responsible for someone else, that is a huge burden. Providing for someone else, that is a huge burden. Protecting someone else, that is a huge burden. So
is it a burden?
Yes, it is a burden. But it says in the Bible, burdens are made for shoulders, not hips. Okay. So like, for example, if you and I are going on a date, right? And let's say we're walking back from the station, right? And let's say, I want to go down this path, but you're like, oh, you want to take this path, which is like through the park, right? And the park is dark. Oh, we need to go to the loo, etc. Rush home, it's a shortcut. And I'm like, okay, I hear you tomorrow, but actually I think it's best we go this way, right? And let's say, in a traditional sense, I'm responsible for your safety. Even though you want to go that way, we will go this way. Now, if you're like, no, I really want to go this way, I'd be like, cool, but I'm not responsible for your safety anymore.
Okay.
Right? Because responsibility without authority is slavery. Right? You know, I tell you how and when you can pick the cotton and all that, but you have no authority over, you know, when and how it happens. Right? So with if you're giving someone responsibility, you're also giving them an element of authority. You have to submit to that authority. Now, a good man, what I would say, a good traditional man, whatever decision he's making, he goes, what do you need? What do you need from this? Right? And he tries to ensure that making the best decision also provides you what you need. Right?
Right.
But you can't ask for something traditional if you're not going to submit in a traditional way.
I just guess obviously nowadays there is a bit of a gap of what's really traditional to what's not traditional, and the request that people are having, protect and provide. But the problem that we have in is not just men, is women. There's such a confusion on the roles, and women being independent, and men wanted a woman that wants to stay at home, but then she wants to go to work. But the problem is that because things are very expensive nowadays, and it's so much harder to have things, achievable. Sorry to stop you.
Yeah, go for it.
Something that's achievable is not as easy because, if you were to lose your job, then what's going to happen?
I agree. So I don't mean like, I don't think guys are saying women shouldn't work, right? Because first off, most households need 2 incomes anyway.
But the problem we have is if you want a traditional relationship and you want the real tradition, as they call it, women will not go to work.
I know, but like it's a spectrum though, isn't it?
Yes, this is the problem we're having because the world is so different to what it was before. And things are much harder to achieve and to maintain, and to even having a family and kids is a different level. Unless obviously you come from a good family or there's money in your family already.
Sure.
Then that's a little bit of a problem. That's where we come to massive issues nowadays.
Sure. But what I'm saying is though, you can have both of them working, but they still have a traditional dynamic. Right? Because it's not about who's earning what, but it's about the dynamic. Let me ask
you, if the woman is going to work, why are you going to exchange for that role that she's going to be doing, working as well as, because then if she's going to have kids at the same time as she has to work, then that means there's more work on her side than your side.
Okay, so what I mean is this, for example, right, which has been the case with every one of my relationships, right? We might be both working, but 9 times out of 10, if we go out, I'm paying.
Okay.
So we're both working.
Right.
But that's quite a traditional dynamic. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, that is traditional, but the problem is when the kids come into the picture.
Sure. And then, you have to, a lot of time women might go part-time. If you're a woman and you don't have to work, like you're with a man where you don't have to work, that is a luxury today.
Well, of course.
Like that is like if you don't have to, that is a luxury. Right. And so this is why I was saying like you're like, oh, babysitter. I'm like, they're her kids too.
But you know what I mean? Like if she stays at home, she's doing like 6 different jobs at home.
I'm not saying it's not a job, but what I'm saying is she's doing that for the family, right? Not for him.
But what is she doing for her?
Is that not for her? Is it not in her own interest to look after her own children?
Because when men go to the football, or they go into, I don't know, playing golf, and they just go sailing.
That's fine, but you said about him going to work, and he's working for who?
He's working for himself and the family.
Well, okay, so why do you say he's working for himself, but she's only looking after the kids for him?
But then she's not outside the house, so she's on an environment that's not going to help her mental health on a longer term. That's why there's so many women from years ago that they don't know anything better than what it was at home. They don't know how to come out the world. What happens nowadays when women been married 30, 40 years and they need to come out and work? They don't even know what to do. So they're unprepared. So they're not really doing it for themselves.
You don't think, right? So I'm just want to clarify. You don't think that women, right, a lot of women who want to have a family, you think they would rather be at work than looking after their new child?
No, I think for what I'm coming across nowadays with all the women that I'm dealing with and in the academy is that they would love to still have kids, but they want a babysitter and they want somebody that will clean at home. So they want to still go to work. They still
that
want to
means
have
they're
their
not
family.
traditional though.
right? But they want to have the kids and they want to have the family.
That's fine.
But unfortunately, if you lose your job or another person they're dating, they're losing the job, unfortunately, the household is not going to be as smooth as it was when there was 2 incomes or 1 income coming in.
What I would say is that there's, like I said, there's pros and cons to everything. There's nothing that is all good nor bad.
It's crossovers all the time.
So if you have 2 parents working and have a babysitter raising the child, that means the babysitter's raising the child, not you.
Mm-hmm.
So they more like, and this happens a lot, they start to more likely have a stronger relationship with the child, and the child has a stronger relationship with them. And I say this because when I went to boarding school, it was just a bunch of rich kids, and that's exactly how it was for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
They did not have close relationships with their parents. Is that a sacrifice worth having? Personally, I wouldn't want that, right? I have a good relationship with my parents. So now, if you have a woman working at home, the benefit is that you raise the children how you want them to be raised.
Mm-hmm.
You get to spend time with your children. Is it work? Of course it's work. I'm not saying it's not work, right? I'm not saying it's not labor. But you have the added benefit of you are raising the child how you want them to be. You are having a strong relationship with the child, right? And there's not a third party in your family.
What's your opinion about you staying at home as a man and she going to work? Changing the traditional roles?
I mean, I think people can do that if they want. I don't think that's in me personally. I've never been in that position. I will say, I've dated maybe 1 or 2 older women and they were very, very wealthy. And so when we went out, they kind of took care of everything. I was like, wow, this is what it's like to be a girl. And I was like, no wonder girls love this.
Very different.
But personally for me, I mean, I don't know how we would come to that decision. I don't know how we'd come to the decision where that was the best way,
Mm-hmm.
just because I know how I am. But I'm not going to say that would never happen, but I think the chance of it happening is very unlikely.
0 minus 0.0000.
I'd say 0.0002%. How would you feel? How would you feel being with a guy and he wanted to be a stay-at-home husband?
I don't think that sounds right to me. I think that would be, I'm just trying to picture him in the kitchen cooking and me going out with a suit.
So many girls would love a guy to be cooking for them.
I mean, I love a man to cook for me, but not on a daily basis because I wouldn't even feel feminine enough. I love to be in the kitchen. I love to do certain things for my man.
Go on. I was going to ask, do you think a woman can respect a guy who's a stay-at-home husband?
No.
Yep, there you go.
100% no. No, because unfortunately men run on certain things that help them to feel like a man, especially because of your egos. They're much higher than ours. They're just to a different level.
Maybe we're just very good at taking responsibility. Because that's what a leader does.
Hey, you think women can't?
I think they can, but I think most women want a guy to be the leadership position in the relationship.
Have you seen how many sacrifices and how many obligations women have without even having to have a choice?
What do you mean?
They have no choice but to get pregnant. They have no choice but to have a menstrual. They have no choice if they want to have a family.
You can adopt a child. You don't have to.
If you don't have your own kid, you know what I'm talking about. Even the menstrual circles, like we have no choice but to have them.
You better talk to nature. That has nothing to do with me. That has nothing to do with me.
But I'm just saying, you see the obligations that we have without even being able to have a choice.
Okay, well, being pregnant is a choice. Anybody who is pregnant,
if you want to have if you want to have your own kids and have a family, unless you have a lot of money and have a segregate mom.
Okay, but that's like saying,
sorry.
That's right. But like, it's like saying, okay, well, you know, it's not. I don't have a choice in having car insurance. It's like, well, if you want, you can choose to not have car insurance, but that just means you won't be able to drive legally, right? Or you just won't be able to drive.
To jail.
Okay, sure. So like, you don't have to be pregnant, right? That is a choice. If you're talking like menstrual cycle, take that up with nature. That, you know, but I think 99% of female mammals have menstrual cycles, same as being pregnant, but you don't have to choose that. But in terms of, you know, taking the responsibility, you know, well, a lot of women express that they want the man to take responsibility for a lot in the relationship, and so that's why men typically take that position.
Depends on the type of woman, but okay.
I agree. I think that I think some women prefer that they take the responsibility, right? But I think that's quite few because I think they struggle to respect the man in the relationship.
Okay.
I would say.
Hope you really enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full episode where that clip is from, then I want you to click right here where you can watch the full episode. And if you're ready to claim your man today, enroll in my program below, and I'll see you there. Wishing you an amazing day.